Hi guys and girls, so in today's video I want to touch on a subject that I feel really does play a big part in whether you catch lots of fish or whether you get very few bites. So before I begin, for my subscribers, thanks for tuning in, really appreciate it. If you're new here as well, welcome. My name's James. I created this channel to share lots of info, tips and advice that I have stored up in my brain to help you catch more fish basically. I think there's a lot of secrecy in our hobby, especially certain aspects, but no, I want to provide as much information as I can, especially to the newcomers. I get it, some people when they're new to the hobby, they don't do very well to start with and they just chuck it in. Well, please subscribe if that's you. I'm going to be sharing a wealth of knowledge on all different subjects. If you don't know me, without boring you, I fish for absolutely everything. Haven't done much fly fishing, must admit, but I'm going to cover so many species, so many tactics, so many tips, like this, a wind video, which if you're not very experienced, you might think, well, wind, does it really play a massive part in whether fish feed well or not? In my opinion, yes. And by the way, it is just my opinion. I welcome comments if you've got a different opinion or very experienced, but this is just to give you a nutshell of what are the best winds, what are my least favourite winds, which you can then implement and just get prepared if you're planning to go fishing, you really want to go fishing, but you suddenly have a wind change to a non-favourable direction. So, what is my least favourite wind direction? Well, it has to be east. There's a saying, when the wind's from the east, the fish bite least. And I very much think this is true. Now, don't be put off. Still go. Just know it might be a bit trickier than usual. Why do I say that? Well, there's things you can do. So, if I'm fishing a lake, for example, I would always go the opposite way. So I'll be sitting, from where the wind is behind me and the wind's not coming in. So you don't want to be perhaps your feeder fishing and sitting there with the wind crashing against your bank. You want to be that other side on look for a real sheltered part of the lake. That's my advice if you ever go fishing in an easterly wind. Okay, so we've got the horrible easterly wind out of the way. What about my most favourite? Well, it has to be west. West is great. It brings in wet weather, generally low pressure fronts, and I believe the fish do actually feed best. The old expression again, with the wind from the west, the fish bite best, and that is something that I certainly believe in. I get real excited when I've planned to go fishing myself over the weekend or on a Tuesday when I'm off work, and for the week it's been west, really horrible weather, when a lot of people are probably out there going, oh, this terrible weather we're having. I'm going, I love it. Anyway, so yeah, wind from the west, generally speaking as well, I would favour, especially in the slightly warmer months, that wind hitting me. So I want to be on the bank with that wind pushing against me. Especially if you're fishing for like carp, I believe that a westerly wind, they will inhabit that bank, they will travel that bank a lot more than what they will when it's an easterly wind. I know carp move about, but again, my opinion, you might have a different one. Okay, so my second least favourite has got to be from the north. Generally that chillier wind. The only exception to that, for me personally, is if it's been scorching hot, we've had a high pressure, lots of sun, real hot, I look forward to a northerly wind. If it just cools things down a little bit, then that's great. You might say, well, an easterly wind is cold. Yes, but again, that expression, wind from the east, the fish bite least. So if I've got a northerly wind when it's been high pressure, really hot for a long time, that excites me too. I should get a life really. Anyway, my second favourite obviously was one left, south. Again, perhaps not so much when it's been scorching, but if it's been cool for a few weeks, maybe it's the start of spring, and then we have a week of south wind which will steadily rise their water temperatures, unless you're fishing a real shallow river or pond, it could increase it too much to turn the fish off. But if you're fishing a good body of water, good depth to it, it will gradually bring that up and push the fish on. Now, the only exception with that, obviously, if it pushes the fish on to optimal level to spawn. But these are all different videos that I'm going to cover. So please just take away the basics. You know, I really appreciate the love that I'm getting, the likes, the comments. Please comment. I want to create a community that is welcoming, that, you know, if you've got any questions on any topics that I cover, I'm more than happy to answer. And I want people, experienced people, maybe like you may be experienced and done this for a few years too, to pitch in too. You know, I really appreciate opinions. So yeah, feel free to do so. But once again, thanks for stopping by. If you found this helpful, please subscribe, because I'm going to be putting a ton of videos on here, both from my time on the bank targeting so many species, both freshwater and salt, along with as many hints and tips as I can possibly do. And I'm really going to push it. So once again, thanks, tight lines, and good luck on your next session.